also glad that, yes, the real estate sector is also looking at sporting infrastructure as a major catalyst that drives change in our society. Uh, Looking at the vision that SDAT has, SDAT is the principal sports governing agency of the government of Tamil Nadu. Our vision can be put in, in three ways, threefold vision. One, create sporting infrastructure that is sustainable, that is decentralized, that is easy to use and accessible to everyone. And second, using this infrastructure, how do you tap the local talent? We call grassroots talent. How do you bring the local talent to come to these infrastructure projects or your stadia and tap the talent out of them? And most importantly, how do you also use these spaces to host marquee global sports events? How can you make your state the destination for sporting events in the country? And what drives our vision is, very exciting to understand. Uh, I'll just give an example. The first drive is the demand, that is there around in the state particularly. There was a survey a few years ago as to what a particular constituency, every constituency in the state of Tamil Nadu needs. They were asked to list out some 10 priorities for that constituency. Without fail, in almost every other assembly constituency of this state, one of the major demands was to have a stadium, what we call a mini stadium or a small stadium at that level, could be at a block level or a taluk level. And second and most important, we found that sporting infrastructure, the stadia, the grounds, are not just structures. They go beyond that. They are your identities of a particular place. We say that there is a new stadium coming up in our locality. There's a new ground coming up in our locality. There is a new pool coming in our district. So that's how people recognize these sporting infrastructure. And third and most important, the beauty of sporting projects is their universality and adaptability. You spoke about Bharatiyar's, a famous quote. Our vision is that, how do you make every child come to a nearby ground and play? So at a village level, government of Tamil Nadu is looking at what we call as Namma Oor Vilayaattadal, a small space where you can make the villagers, the kids particularly in the village, come and play. And from there, how do you create global sports city in Semanjari? How do you create international cricket stadium in Coimbatore? So the idea is sports infrastructure are demand-driven, are universal in appeal, and are adaptable. So this drives our vision to create lasting and sustainable sporting infrastructures in the state.
Could you just explain the synergy between sport and real estate? I'm just asking this because I've seen Karnataka, the neighboring state of Karnataka, where you have golf resorts being built, and there is an economy, a micro and a macro economy that's developing around it, right? Of course, there are challenges because you got to acquire land. Sometimes land could be agricultural land. It may not be commercial land. You got to convert it. There could be litigation, so you got to battle that. So what is the synergy between real estate and sport? I mean, how does it feed off each other?
Before I speak of the synergy, let me throw some numbers, very interesting numbers. In fact, these numbers were crunched over the last 2 days. In fact, I was in for a shock. So, over the last 5 years, government of Tamil Nadu has spent close to, its sporting budget, sports department's budget, stands at around 1,945 crores in the last 5 years. To put that in perspective, in the first year in the last 5 years, the budget was only 166 crore. And in the next 4 years, it has jumped to 1,945 cumulatively. So from 166 crore annually, we are now speaking of 400, 500 crores annually. That's the kind of jump that we have seen. From a infrastructure creation point of view, we look at it 2 ways. One, you create new infra. You also retrofit. That was a word I was hearing in the sessions here. How do you retrofit the existing facilities and create modern facilities out of them so that you save money and everything else? So that budget has jumped 10 times in the last 5 years. So I would not hesitate to say that there's a sort of a silent sporting revolution, both in the sporting sector as well as in the sporting infrastructure happening in Tamil Nadu. I'll give few examples how it creates a synergy between sporting infrastructure and public spaces and real estate spaces. I was in Tenkasi a few days ago, a new district. A district sports complex has been announced in that district. We did not have much of a choice on choosing the land. It was a very challenging a bit of land that we got, some 10-15 acres, really thrown away very far from the district headquarters. But what we see today now is a brand new stadium. And one of the first remarks that the villagers told me is when I got down my car is, so thank you for bringing this project. It did help them from a real estate perspective. They've told me how the value of the land in that area, which was primarily agriculture driven, shot up 10 times thanks to one stadium that has come in a district like that. And we speak of global sports city that the government of Tamil Nadu has announced in Semanjeri. A lot of interest, has come on that. We are about to start work in the next 2-3 months. And the beauty of the Semanjeri Global Sports City project, which is coming in Chennai, is spread. I mean, this is spread in across 120 acres of land. And this is the first, probably, the sports city in the entire country, which will integrate water sports and regular sports. Semanjeri, you all know, has a lot of challenges with respect to drainage. So our consultants team found out a solution where we can tap the entire water flow in monsoon, in other times also, create a dedicated water sports facility and also create sporting facility. Then we speak of Coimbatore International Cricket Stadium, which attracted a lot of attention last year. We're about to go for a tender in the next few months. So in a very quiet and quaint place like Undipudur, which was open jail before, now we are coming up with a brand new cricket stadium, which I'm sure will create a lot of ripple effect in the entire area. I received a lot of calls on what is happening there, what are the facilities that we are bringing there. And in Ramanathapuram, a very interesting conversation happened just 2 days ago. We are coming up with India's first Olympic water sports academy, which will take care of your sailing, surfing, open water swimming, a lot of multiple sporting facilities, water sports facilities. So I remember a friend from the real estate, from a hospitality sector coming and asking me like, what is your vision for it? Because we want to come, bring a brand new, facility there, hospitality, hotel there. So we want to understand what are you doing here. So these are just, snapshots of what and how sporting infrastructure is changing the landscapes, is defining the landscapes. And most importantly, if you see the kind of examples I gave only one example from Chennai, rest all are from the hinterland. So as we speak, there are close to 200 civil infrastructure projects, both new and retrofitting, what we call O&M, happening in Tamil Nadu. Not many know about this. So that's the kind of scale we are looking at. And I'll go a step further ahead and say that there is not a single district in Tamil Nadu which doesn't have a sporting infrastructure project not happening as we speak. So that's the kind of impact we have seen in front of our own eyes, how the diverse sporting infra projects will be able to churn a lot of real estate ripples and boom around that area.
It's interesting you mentioned Tenkasi. So can we assume that the sporting revolution is spreading beyond the Tier 1 cities and is going to Tier 2, Tier 3, and even the rural sector? Is that the way forward?
In fact, one of the mandates when we started about this, revolution is that you have to look beyond metros. I'll also tell you why we have to look beyond metros, because talent, particularly sporting talent, is not a prerogative of any geographical space. How many of us know that the top-ranked tennis junior player of the state comes from Karur? The 4 Olympic medalists, Paris Para-Olympic medalists, you would know them better. So, Mariappan comes from Salem, Tulasimati comes from Kanjipuram, Nityashri comes from Hosur, and there's one more athlete who comes from, Manisha comes from Tiruvallur. So the talent, the sporting talent is there everywhere to find. It's not just, restricted or, you confined to a particular space. So the idea is you create sporting facilities, particularly infra projects, beyond your metros. What are we doing on that front? We are creating, by this year end, 100 mini stadia in 100 blocks, commas, tehsils, whichever way you understand. Basically at a assembly constituency level. 75 of them are brand new. 25 of them will be retrofitted. So they come with a nice running track. They come with a gym. They come with facilities like volleyball, basketball, open air, all that. So 100 such facilities in different parts of the state. We're creating para sports arenas in 11, apart from Chennai, 10 para sports arenas, dedicated facilities where para sports persons can go and play their specific game in 10 different districts of the state, again, mostly in the hinterland. We are modernizing gyms. A very unsung area from a sporting perspective also. We have had spaces for gyms but never modernized. So government of Tamil Nadu decided, let's modernize gyms and create them at every level. So the idea is you create facilities beyond your tier 1, I'll also tell you one very interesting, another example I must tell you is we are creating CM sports, youth sports arenas. A very interesting, thing that we are doing this year. Basically, we are creating cricket, box cricket and futsal in all the 38 districts of the state. Normally, when you see a box cricket and futsal, you understand that, it's confined to a metro area where only software employees would go and, play. We have certain examples. For example, in Kolattur, we do have box cricket. When I went to Thiruvarur, most of you will understand what Thiruvarur looks like. A very, it's more like a large village. Just opposite our district sports complex, I found to my utter shock, some 7 to 8 youngsters coming together, pumping in some 70 lakhs, leased out a land, have come up with a brand new box cricket and futsal. And they have enlisted it on a third party app. People can just, anyone can just book on it, go. They created a small cafe. In fact, that was a trigger for us to understand the sporting revolution in the state or in this country is real. A lot of people want sporting infrastructures in their geographical area. So the idea is you take this beyond metros, and that's where you get the real talent. And also, as I said, it'll be a big change to that particular geographical area.
I just want to ask you, how do you deal with when you develop sporting infrastructure? On the flip side, you also have a chance of it being a white elephant. Like across the country, you've seen you build a big stadium for a particular event, maybe a national games or whatever, or a national games village, for instance, in Bangalore. And then what happens? Hardly anyone uses the facility. It becomes idle. It becomes decrepit. And then you kind of lease it out for exhibitions, home loan exhibitions. Other events happen except sport, or a rock show happens. So how do you ensure that a sporting infrastructure kind of stays true to its roots? Okay, makes money through commercial endeavors, but it's also used for sports.
In fact, Mr. Vijay, this is a very big challenge that sporting sector is facing today. How do you optimize your stadium? How do you put them to use? How do you make them commercially viable? And also ensure that they don't turn out to be white elephants, because quite a few initiatives have become white elephants, including where private sector have come in. That we can attribute it to poor planning also. I mean, we don't shy to say that. So that's where we understand the concept of, small is beautiful. And we look at sustainable solutions. We look at low cost solutions. And in fact, SDAT, though I'm a journalist, an I.A.S officer, probably in the last 3 years, many of us in SDAT have become civil engineers thanks to the kind of exposure we are getting in these stadium. How do you design a stadium? What kind of facilities do you create? The first question that we pose to ourselves is, when I create this, how do I make it sustainable in the next 10 years? Because I need to put in, CapEx is one problem. Then you have OpEx. How do you run, the facilities? I'll give you some examples that we found, to be really working. For example, there was an announcement to create Chennai Olympic Academy. Yeah. So normally the urge is to, when you call Chennai Olympic Academy, take some 20, 30 acres, build, big structures and, throw open to public. We found solution in a small, 3-storied building next to in Jawaharlal Nehru Stadium. This was being constructed for a different purpose. And then we realized, why don't we convert this space into an Olympic Academy? See, end of the day, our notion is when it's an academy or an Olympic academy, you look at some 34 acres. Not required. You just look at a 3-storied building where in the ground floor, we now use it as high performance center for volleyball, basketball. In second floor, first floor, we use it for judo, taekwondo. In third floor, we have one of the finest, fencing centers, fencing training centers. In top floor, we have one of the best sports science institutes across, you can find anywhere in the country. We are putting our home of chess there. So basically in a very, very small building, just like any other building, we have created high performance centers for close to 7 to 8 Olympic disciplines. So that's the kind of solutions we are looking at. None of our district sports complex cost us more than 15 crore. There's always an urge to announce, we are pumping in 100 crore or 50 crore. That's not the solution. And most importantly, in the mini stadia that I mentioned, all our mini stadia are worth rupees 3 crore. Okay. So we don't put, hundreds or tens of crores in it. In 3 crore, create a facility. The idea is you create a facility which will naturally attract public to come there, rather than waiting for them to come. You create a buzz that there is a place that has been created around us, and let's go. Kolattur, I'll tell you a small example. Kolattur, we are creating mini stadium which will be thrown open to public in the next 1 week by Honorable CM. When we were given the land was just measuring, which you won't believe, less than 1 acre. Precisely put 92 cents. In 92 cents of land, we were told to create mini stadium in Honorable Chief Minister's constituency. We looked at it this way. We thought, let's not crib on that non-availability of land. What can we do in this linear bit of land which was being used as a dump yard before that? Now, as we speak, we have created a brand new pool there, a 25-meter community pool, fully covered, and also some badminton courts based on local demand. So out of nowhere, this small piece of land has completely changed the dynamics of the space in Kolattur. So people are waiting, there have been queries as to when you'll open the pool, when will the badminton courts be thrown open to the public. And this costed us, not more than 7.5 crore. From a government perspective, very little. But the kind of impact that we're going to create, self-sustainable way we are going to create is huge.
How significant is political will to back the development of sporting infrastructure? I'm asking this because I personally have seen in many cabinets, be it union or state, the sports ministry is an act of tokenism. It's almost like an afterthought, right? But here the deputy CM is the sports minister. Does it help? Does that help the kind of clout probably he has or the relevance he has in the ecosystem? Does it help in pushing files faster, getting land deals done? How does it work?
Since as a bureaucrat, I cannot, speak, political answers. That's the reason I cleverly mentioned the, a meteoric rise in funding, in the last 5 years. And that rise in funding, which is, see, any sector, particularly sports sector, you need funds, you need money. That's the basic. You don't allocate funds to sectors like this, which are not revenue generating. See, for example, municipal bodies have ways to generate revenue. Sports doesn't have. Our tariffs are one of the lowest. If we raise tariffs, people will create, scene around it. So the only solution, if you're looking at sporting revolution in a very meaningful way, is to give enough funds to the department to create facilities and run the facilities. And whatever funds increase is because of the political will. That's also, there is a vision, on part of the political establishment to create facilities. To think of water sports academy, Olympic academy in Ramnad, to give a fantastic, stadium in Tenkasi. So all this flows from that vision. So decisions are, quick. Finance department will clear the files very quickly. And we also have that obligation that we have to, get these projects done and, implement it very quickly. So political will, it could be at center or it could be at states, across the states. In fact, this is what we tell, in every conversation with Government of India and other states also. See, our, dream for Olympics, our dream for Olympic medals will not happen unless you put a decent and meaningful money into the sporting sector. And, political, backup, political push will make a hell lot of difference to this sector.
Could you say something about how you nurture sport at the grassroots level? Because when cricket was democratized, it was taken away. It does exist in the big cities, but it was taken away to the other centers like Ranchi. You had an MS Dhoni coming out of it, right? So when you democratize sport within Tamil Nadu to the grassroots level, how significant is something like a Champions Foundation? What does it do?
So let me bid for our initiative here before, I answer this question. Tamil Nadu Champions Foundation, as Mr. Vijay Kumar, mentioned. A classic case of how public and private enterprises can come together. But budget funding we were speaking about. Though I can get, funds for infrastructure, supporting, sports persons is a critical element. How do you support sports persons who will have little needs, sometimes 1 lakh rupees worth, equipment, sometimes in 2 lakh worth tickets to go and, participate in a competition. No state in this country has got a dedicated budget for that unless you are a proven player. That's where Tamil Nadu Champions Foundation made all the magic. Brainchild of Honorable Deputy Chief Minister. In fact, the first check for the foundation came from Honorable CM. We invited corporate sectors. It's a registered company. We registered it as a company. We invited corporate sectors to, fund us. So this company has got some good, corpus. In fact, we'd love, any of you contributing, it to it. We have an online website where any sports person sitting across the state, they don't need to come and see me or my office. Just apply on it, tell your need and requirement, and then we process it. I'll tell you the impact. In the last 2.5 years of its operation, Tamil Nadu Champions Foundation reached out to 4,000, sports persons across the state, which includes around 600 to 700 para sports person. There is no state, in this entire country which would have supported 700 para sports persons in the last 2.5 years. We gave everything that they asked for. They wanted to go for a competition, we supported them. They wanted equipment, cycles, legs, from spikes worth, 20,000 rupees to a budding athlete, to a cycle which was worth around 15 lakh rupees to a young cyclist coming from Kovilpatti. We have funded it all. So the reason is, we strongly believe, as you rightly said, talent is found everywhere. And amongst many other initiatives, we are also doing Chief Minister's Trophy Games, which is our flagship event to unearth talent. We conduct competitions every year at district level and then bring to the state level. You'll be surprised to know at the state level around we host 30,000 sports persons spread over 25 days. Your Olympics, host only some 5,000 to 7,000. We host 30,000. We bring them in buses from their districts, put them in a hotel, transport them to a sporting facility, give them food and send them back. All with one agenda: how do you unearth talent at the grassroots level? The result, just one example. Tulasimati Murugesan, a shining example of para badminton silver medalist at Paris Olympics, comes from Kanchipuram. Father was a small-time coach. Her first, badminton racket came when she bought a Boost, because Boost gives a badminton racket free. And her every year inspiration to participate in competitions was CM's trophy, because she is 8-time undefeated CM trophy para badminton champion. And from there, she is now a Paralympic silver medalist. So that's the kind of talent you have, in the grassroots. All that you need to do is to create a platform, and we are very proud that through CM Trophy Games and multiple other channels, we have successfully created that platform every year.
So the message from the big man here to all the real estate biggies here is that please open your CSR purses a bit more liberally for sport. What would you prefer from them, from the real estate sector? I mean, it could be a small apartment too, but what do you expect from them vis-a-vis a sport?
Sports is a community asset. I mean, it doesn't belong to SDAT, it doesn't belong to government of Tamil Nadu, end of the day. It's something that drives our wellness. And I think it's important that we drive more and more children into sports, given the kind of other attractions that they're getting into these days. To the real estate, biggies that are here, there are multiple ways that we can collaborate. I'll tell you one small example. TNCF, Tamil Nadu Champions Foundation. Recently, we thought, why don't we utilize this CSR for infra retrofitting? I know you can't create stadia out of CSRs, but how do you utilize their funds for retrofitting existing facilities? There's a mobile company which approached us from Delhi, Oppo, to give you the example. They said, we have this much amount and it's like a blank check. What do you want to use this for? We channelized it into retrofitting 2 critical facilities in Chennai. One, the skating rink in Jawaharlal Nehru Indoor Stadium, which would have probably be the first skating rink for every champion, in Tamil Nadu. In fact, Asian medalists, all 3 of them come from there. The training happens there. It needed some attention. It needed some upkeep. It costed us some, the work is happening now. It costed us only 30-35 lakhs. But today, in another 1 week, you will have a brand new skating rink in the city, retrofitted. Yes. Not much money, 35 lakhs is nothing. At the same time, since we are doing really well in para badminton, there is a small badminton hall inside Jawaharlal Nehru Indoor Stadium. We converted it into a dedicated para badminton academy. So which will be again open. All we did is retrofitting, which costed us only 40 lakhs. So basically in 50-60 lakhs, you are able to create high impactful projects. So we don't expect someone to come up with 2 crore, 5 crore, 6 crore, 10 crore. Sometimes you adopting a facility, or funding us for small retrofitting, because that's your area of expertise, will really go a long way. You can adopt a district sports complex. You can adopt a pool. You won't believe the kind of response that we get every summer for Learn to Swim is amazing. It's mind-blowing. We sometimes have to close the admissions because there is so much of demand. For example, the Tamil Nadu Mercantile Bank came forward and said, in Thoothukudi, which is their base, we will retrofit the entire swimming pool. So it costing them, 1.5 crore. But tomorrow you will have a community asset, a good brand visibility. Look at the skating rink, hundreds of kids come there daily, and there is a brand, available to see on a daily basis for just 30-35 lakh rupees. So the idea is, it could be any amount, but we are here to take that amount and channelize into a very, very meaningful project or a idea.
One last question. I mean, do you think all these initiatives from you and your team, has sport become broad-based in Tamil Nadu? Because the usual cliche with Tamil Nadu is that, okay, Tamil Nadu is damn good in cricket, Tamil Nadu is damn good in chess. Of course, you had tennis earlier, you had the Krishnans and the Amritraj earlier. But has Tamil Nadu become a broad-based state for sport?
Absolutely. I mean, I must credit this to uh, to the government's post, in post-independent India, particularly in the last 2-3 decades, for whom sports was always a, pet, priority, subject. You know, many chief ministers of the state were extreme sport lovers. And that helped in broad basing. Beyond cricket, you take chess. Out of some 80 grandmasters of the country, 35 come from this state, which is a record of sorts. Uh, you take cycling. All we did was to revamp and re-put in use one of our velodromes in Vandalur. In Kelo India 2024, which happened in Tamil Nadu, we became the overall champion in cycling. Fencing, the only Olympian from India comes from this city, supported by SDAT. Tennis, we are doing really well in boys and girls. Badminton, we are doing really well. Para sports requires no introduction. In para athletics and para badminton, we are consistent one, and para athletics across the country, we are consistently second. Athletics. Athletics is another shining, spot. Kerala used to dominate, but now it's completely between, the competition is only between Haryana and Tamil Nadu. We have been, national winners multiple times. Many in 4x400 at Olympics. Out of the four, in both men and women, either 3 or 2 come from Tamil Nadu, and they come from, very, very, rural areas. Table tennis, we know how impactful table tennis is. We have emerged as a table tennis Kelo India winners, champion last year after 25 years. We became swimming men's in the podium. We finished in the national games after 28 long years. So I can proudly say that, thanks to multiple initiatives that we are taking and several other private bodies are taking, there's a sort of a revolution happening in sports in this state across, various sporting disciplines, and we are really glad for that.
We always think about sport as just about sweat and athleticism and, elasticity of the limbs. But there's a lot of thinking and analysis that goes beyond sport. I mean, whatever he's spoken so far, he's just made these enormous amount of notes, tiny notes, and it's attention to detail. I mean, that what matters in sport. I mean, you need the infrastructure, you need the planning. Hats off to what you're doing. The floor is open for a couple of questions. Keep the questions brief. Don't make statements. Just one question per person. Gentlemen, you. Sir, mic le pesna, sir. Mic le pesna.
I'm very proud of Mr. Reddy because an I.A.S. officer devoting his time and effort for sports development is fantastic.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, and so one thing, you are spending a lot of energy and effort in developing infrastructure in sports, but developing the sportsmen, already they have talent, but still never to get land up in frustration when they lose, for that right attitude and for that, for continuous development of that positive thinking, you are doing any effort, sir?
See, the only way you can put a sports person in a positive frame of mind is to fund them. I know it is speaking in money terms, but for me that alone matters. As a sports person, I can face anything, but the only thing that will cripple me is my inability to fund my training or my rehabilitation. So that's where we have taken a lot of initiatives. I mentioned about Tamil Nadu Champions Foundation, and most importantly, across 3 various schemes called Elite, MIMS, and CDS, Government of Tamil Nadu supports 400 budding players and elite players every year. If you're an elite player, you're given 30 lakh rupees per annum. If you're a MIMS category 2 level player, you're given 12 lakhs per annum. And you're a budding athlete under 20, you're given 4 lakh rupees per annum. The idea is, I mean, you have a need, we are here to, reach out to you. That's the kind of, message that we give. And we're also investing heavily on sports science. We have a brand new sports science center. So we reach out to these players, on a psychological level, and we fund their rehabilitation. There was a budding, a very good player who had to do a surgery in Qatar. Just on a WhatsApp sent a message, applied on Tamil Nadu Champions Foundation, and a surgery costing 8 to 10 lakhs. DCM approved, in flat 30 seconds and said we are funding the surgery, and the boy is now recuperating. So this is just one example. The idea is, you have a need, and you have that ability, and you have a potential. SDAT is there to stand by you and, make you win.
One more question, please. Anyone? Yeah. Yes, sir. Someone with the mic.
Hello, good evening, sir. I appreciate for your considerable efforts. I want to inquire if there is any government scheme to promote our traditional games like kabaddi, adi murai, martial arts, kho, all these things. Do you have anything for that?
Traditional games, I mean, Silambam, Kho, Kabaddi, there are Kalari, martial arts, multiple martial arts are native to our land and they always remain our priority. For example, we are the only state which has got a working, job reservation scheme for sports persons in the entire country. And I forgot to tell in my thing. Someone wins a World Cup, you call them and say, I'll make you DSP and deputy collector. That's a different story. But how do you reach out to, players beyond your star players and based on their national performance or Asian performance, how do you give them a job? Right. I know it's digression, but still I thought, I'll mention last year alone, we gave jobs to around 100 sports persons under this scheme. Probably the only state to have crossed, double digit and then, giving jobs, which is a big, reassurance, which includes Silambam. The idea, the reason I brought this up is, Silambam is a sport, if you perform well, is attracted under 3% job. Basically, if you are good in Silambam, you are given a job. So that's the kind of assurance we have. We are promoting Kalari. All these traditional sports, Kho, Kabaddi, are part of CM Trophy. In fact, we put them on live. You should see the kind of craze and madness with which, these kids, school and college play Kabaddi and all. One of the biggest witnessed matches. We have opened a dedicated martial arts training center in Nagarkoil because that particular area is extremely known for its, various traditional arts center with a very minimal, budgeting. We've opened a martial arts center, given a good coach there. We're doing really well in other, games also. I don't know how many of you know that there is a game called Malarkam. And Villupuram is the breeding ground for Malarkam talent in this, state. Coming from Villupuram with very, very basic facilities, our kids have won medals in Khelo India National Games. Right, coming from a very, very small place. So what did we do? We opened a hostel for Malarkam last year. So you have a talent, we take it. And yoga. We are one of the top performing yoga, medal winning state in the country. In the Asian Yoga Championship, there were 8 medalists from Tamil Nadu. So the idea is we reach out to all of them and all these, traditional games attract high cash incentives. I'll end with just one example. Carom, game which is loved, by everyone. The fact that the world champion comes from North Chennai, a 20-year-old girl called Kazima. She was funded to go to US by Tamil Nadu Champions Foundation. They came to us with a request. The fund was 1.5 lakh. A daughter of an auto driver. Her father is himself a carom coach. You should go and see that facility. In less than, half this space with no proper cover, there's a world champion that has come from that facility. And what did government of Tamil Nadu do? It gave a cash incentive of 1 crore rupees to Kazima. And then there were 2 other players who come from, Madurai and all, who won medals in the same competition, were given 50 lakhs each. So that's the kind of, support that we give. We go beyond regular sports and we also cover these, native sports and traditional sports.
Thank you very much. We're completely out of time. Thank you so much, Meghnad. Absolute pleasure.
Can we have a big round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, and a big thank you to the audience for your participation. Requesting Mr. K.C. Vijaykumar to please do the honors and present Mr. Meghanatha Reddy with a token of our appreciation. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for that very, very energetic conversation. And like I said, thank you to our audience for their participation as well. Ladies and gentlemen, we now move on to our last panel discussion for the day. Tier 2 and 3 cities, the next real estate frontier. As part of our discussion this morning, we spoke about how the spotlight is shifting to Tamil Nadu's emerging cities. So join us now as we uncover the immersive and immense potential of Tier 2 and 3 cities and their role in driving the state's next wave of real estate development. I'd like to introduce our speakers for this session. We have V.S. Sridhar, the Executive Managing Director at Cushman & Wakefield, Chennai, who oversees office business profit and loss for Tamil Nadu, Kerala, and Sri Lanka. With over 25 years in real estate, he is a pioneer of professional advisory in Chennai, leading transaction strategy, occupier services, investment advisory, project and facility management. He manages a 30-person team and advises corporates on asset monetization, relocations, and large leases, having led transactions totaling about 7 million square feet in South India, including Chennai's largest 2021 land sale and major corporate consolidations. Welcome, Mr. V.S. Sridhar. Our next speaker is A. Shankar, the India Head of Government Advisory and Solutions at JLL India. With over 25 years of experience in real estate, urban planning, infrastructure and valuation, he has led more than 500 consulting and valuation assignments across the APAC region. He oversees valuation advisory and government advisory services, managing a team of 75 plus professionals. A big welcome to Mr. Shankar. Our next speaker is Mr. Junaid Babu, Chief Operation Officer of G Square, a seasoned corporate leader with over 30 years of experience in strategic planning and operational excellence. He has spent more than 2 decades in key leadership roles where he played a crucial role in shaping corporate strategy and setting industry standards. He drives the company's growth, innovation, and operational strength at G Square. Renowned for his visionary leadership and commitment to professional excellence, he continues to elevate G Square's market position, steering it towards a future defined by innovations, efficiency, and industry leadership. Welcome, sir. Rounding out our panel is Mr. R. Vignesh, the Managing Director of Sri Kailash Industrial and Logistical Parks and Sri Kailash Solar Power Private Limited. With over a decade of leadership, he drives strategic growth, innovation and market expansion across logistics, infrastructure, and renewable energy. Under his direction and leadership, the group has achieved 500 crore rupees in revenue, developed 4 million square foot of real estate, and leased 2.5 million square foot across major cities. His leadership combines vision and execution. Welcome. I'd like to invite our moderator to take the stage once again, inviting Sangeeta Kandavel, Senior Assistant Editor, The Hindu. Sangeeta, over to you.
A very good evening to all of you, and I welcome all my panelists for the day. So let's get on to the panel directly, because we're already running short of time. My first question is directed specifically to 2 people here, which is Sridhar and Vignesh. So whoever wants to take it first. The Tamil Nadu's warehousing policy is expected to be rolled out anytime soon. And there is a huge potential for warehousing, especially in Tier 2 and Tier 3 towns. So what kind of trends are we seeing here, and what kind of opportunities are we seeing here? So Vignesh or Sridhar, whoever wants to take it first.
Very good evening to everyone, and thanks, Hindu, for organizing this event. It's a lovely event. Just answering to your point, Sangeeta. See, first and foremost, I think among the states in India, Tamil Nadu ranks #1 in terms of the manufacturing sector. You know, that's a big bone for Tamil Nadu as a state. Like, we are not only dependent on the IT or I.A.S sector, the major dependency is also from the manufacturing and the automobile sector more specifically. So keeping that in mind, the warehouse and logistics park policy will help to promote the Tier 2 and Tier 3 cities, and also the infrastructure development which we are seeing in the state, more particularly to talk about the Bangalore-Chennai highway, which is industrial corridor, which is getting developed, and other corridors are. And from a city standpoint, from a Tier 2, Tier 3 city, we are looking at cities like Salem, you know, which is untouched. There's a lot of potential. Coimbatore, because of the textile, you know, industry is booming there. So we see Coimbatore, Tiruchi, Salem, Madurai will be the next cities in terms of promoting the warehousing logistics.
First of all, I thank the Hindu group to organize this event and to invite me. So, talking about Tier 2 is the market, is the next market for industrial development, warehousing. So, we have developed a project at Coimbatore. We are the first group to invest and develop an industrial and logistics park at Coimbatore. We had convinced our partners also, the Everstone group, to come and partner with us in the project. And after we have developed that particular area as well as this city, Coimbatore, has become a warehousing hub. And apart from that, we have also done it in Kochi also, which is also a Tier 2 market. And we are also in the plans to develop in Madurai, in Hosur, in Thoothukudi, and in the second phase like Salem, Trichy, etc. So, if you ask me, apart from warehousing, it is like industrial manufacturing investment is also has got a very big role to play. And because there is a huge pool of, highly educated and skilled manpower which is available thanks to our education system. I mean, 4-decade-old education system and non-Mudalvan scheme and all those stuff. So, it's a very good skilled manpower, and companies can, tap them at a very economical rate. And you can, and you can get economical rates you can tap them at, and you can also get loyalty from them. Like what you don't get in Chennai, you can get more loyalty when it is in Tier 2 cities. So there is a huge market and there is huge growth potential, and whoever taps it, I think they have got a very strong edge in moving ahead.
Mr. Junit, while we have a lot of industries coming up across Tier 2 cities, we also need residential development across all these corridors. So what trends are you noticing? And you are also into the plotted development business. So what's happening with your businesses in these corridors?
Good evening to all. To answer your question, just I had a look at my last month's number. Just we concluded my last month number, and number reveals the truth. 60% of our sale has happened other than Chennai actually. So last month we did something close to 350 crores of booking. I just saw incidentally close to 200 crores has happened other than Chennai. So we are very happy with that. It's a huge potential. So 2 years back itself we launched the project, and currently we are running 50 at Kalapiti, which is close to IT hub. And what is driving this demand, if you see, Coimbatore, like places like in Tamil Nadu, each and every place has its own advantage. For example, Coimbatore has its own MSME space. It has a lot of industries. It's called as a Manchester of India. So now recently IT has started coming in, and now the IT space demand has doubled. So all this is fueling growth in the smaller towns. Trichy, now the integrated terminal has come in. So Trichy also we have launched project, and even in Madurai also, a lot of developments are happening. All these developments are driving up the demand. So Coimbatore specifically, a little bit more I'll elaborate. Now recently we have taken a 700 acres land parcel, out of which 400 is going to be plotted. Another 300 acres we are going to develop as a township actually. So we are talking about IT parks, GCC centers, big names to come in. We are talking with hotels, we are talking with hospitals. So we want to develop the entire 300 acres, which will provide employment, which will be the catchment area for the all other 400 acres to develop. That's in Coimbatore. So we expect that Coimbatore as an area to develop as a whole. There is another Western bypass coming. There are talks about metro coming into Coimbatore. Airport is getting doubled. So so forth and so on. Not only Coimbatore, it happens in Tuticorin. We saw a very big announcement happening in Tuticorin, happening in Trichy, Tirunelveli, all these places. So all these places we expect a huge demand, and we think it's going to be very good.
Coming to Shankar, you are one person who's covered almost every sector in Tamil Nadu in the last 2 decades, I would say, including tourism also. So Shankar, Tamil Nadu is also one among the top tourism destinations in India. So how is the growth of tourism influencing the real estate market, and what kind of developments are we seeing there, especially in Tier 2, Tier 3 towns? Because in Madurai, we have Keeladi, and we are having a lot of archaeology activities also happening in Tamil Nadu. So what kind of trends are you noticing?
Yeah, good evening, everyone. So before I comment on this particular aspect, we need to look at how and why Tier 1 is important and why tier 2 and tier 3 cities are important. One side we have metro cities and mega metros. So 25 years back, we had about 4 metro cities. So Delhi, Bombay, Chennai and Calcutta. We used to say that, Delhi, Bombay, Mudi, Pulchi, Ilkata. Okay, so that was the time. After 25 years, we have about 9 major metros. Why this particular point is very important. So the aim for India's Vikshit Bharat should be in alignment with tier 2 cities. So we are focusing on 4 aspects. One is manufacturing, which you covered. Then the infrastructure development, which is also very important. And the third is the employment, which you offer them in that particular city. These are the key drivers for the Vikshit Bharat at the national level. And 1 trillion economy, Tamil Nadu's aspiration to be 1 trillion economy by 2030. That is also very important. And that's why Tamil Nadu government today is focusing on development across Tamil Nadu. It's the only state where you have diversified development across the state. Whereas in some other states nearby, you only see a couple of cities where major developments are coming in. Tamil Nadu, you have major cities, I mean, the tier 2 or 3, now it's called as major cities in this part of the world. From the tourism perspective, we need to understand about 2 points. One, the government's intervention in the entire gamut of things. Today, government is pushing, because in fact, you highlighted that tourism, Tamil Nadu is number 1 in tourism. In fact, in the last 5 years, I think we have gone into number 2 from a tourism perspective. So now Tamil Nadu government is preparing a policy to how to become number 1 and also to attract more international tourists coming into Tamil Nadu by their TN 2030 policy. So from that offshoot of that particular policy is that SIPCOT is going to develop about 4 locations, which are like E Road, I think some of those districts coming up with about 100 to 150 acres of development, purely developed through public-private partnership. So this is from the government side. So what is going to happen is each of those locations are going to target some of those tourism potential around that. So one is the hill station. So I think we have about 3 or 4 segments of tourism. The number 1 is the hill station, because Ooty and Kodaikanal well known, and it's attracting more of Indian domestic tourists. Number 2 is religious and spiritual tourism. The government is focusing more on the spiritual tourism, and you also highlighted Keeladi and all of that. So all of that will come under this. Madurai is picking up a lot from our religious and spiritual tourism, and Tanjavur. So today we see the hospitality industry in these cities, and I'll also cover the medical tourism as well. Apart from Chennai, medical tourism is also picking up in some of the smaller towns around Chennai as well as in Coimbatore region. So there are 3 components. The 3 components, the real estate perspective, the asset classes in hospitality is changing. So you had earlier, you had the 5-star hotels and the local mini lodges and all that stuff. Now we are looking at more boutique hotels coming in, homestays are increasing a lot, and developers are coming up with a lot of developments with hospitality and retail as a destination. So the creation of destinations in these locations, in these pockets are very important, which government is one side is doing, the developers the other side also looking at. And of course, once the tourism industry is triggering the economy of that particular city, you would see the residential picking up, people would migrate, and a lot of employment would come in, and it's a cycle. So I see a huge potential. While Tamil Nadu is number 2 now, but I'm very sure that it will reach number 1 position, and we have a huge amount of tourist locations which can attract investments to this particular state. Thank you.
This question is for all 4 of you. So a few days ago, TCS made an announcement that it would hive off almost 12,000 of its workforce across all sector. So I just wanted to understand, the IT sector is a major consumer when it comes to the real estate sector. So will this have any impact on the real estate sector, especially in Tier 2, Tier 3 towns?
Okay, I think before we move into this question, I think we also looking at, instead of calling Tier 2, Tier 3 cities, I think we should also start talking about emerging cities. I think that's very important. I think these cities are now well developed. It's no more a Tier 2, Tier 3 city. Like what Shankar had mentioned, about 2 decades back, Chennai used to be the Tier 2 city in our real estate thing, but now it's one of the important metro cities. Though it has been a metro city earlier, from a real estate standpoint, it used to be known as a tier 2 cities, which is now emerged as top 6 cities in the country. Similarly, the other cities also we need to start talking about emerging cities. Before I answer to your why TCS is laying off people, I think more importantly, we need to look at it how other ITS firms, and especially the GCC clients, Global Capabilities Centers, are hiring more people. In the last 12 to 18 months, clients like IBM, Capgemini, Amazon, all have gone, set up a youth centers in Coimbatore. Also, they're exploring other centers in Trichy and so on. So there's a huge demand moving into the tier 2, tier 3 cities. It's purely because of the talent availability today in the market and closer to the hometowns, which also boils down to the point what Vignesh was saying in terms of retention. Classic example, one of the large IT companies has got a base of about 7,500 people in Madurai, which is one of the largest IT firms in the country today, Indian IT firm. And there, the attrition rate, the center rate is mentioning about 6%. Overall, if you look at it, the attrition rate in the ITS sector, it's hovering between 30 to 35% in the last 3 to 4 years. But now, only for that center, the attrition rate is about 6 or 7%. Plus, they also do the same job and the same pay scale what other metro cities are paying for the same company. So that's the big thing. And also, if you look at it, what is transforming today, where we are all moving towards digitalization today, the jobs are also changing the nature today. The developer, the IT developer or a program developer, now it has to be changed to a AI, ML and all the things. That is the narrative of the entire job is also changing. So that is the reason why we see a shift in the hiring pattern also. That could be one of the reasons. The same TCS is also hiring 4,000 people now on the AL and ML headcount. So that's where the challenge. And also the company is also looking at today, because their demand is from the clients in terms of their bench strength is also reducing. So that is all happening. That is one of the reasons why we see other end people are hiring more.
Yeah, just no, I think Sridhar said it all. I want to add a couple of points here. The entire thing triggered, the IT the story in any of those Indian cities started with government intervention. First Tidal Park came in and its rest is history. Now, Tamil Nadu government has already done about 4 or 5 tidal parks across Tamil Nadu. Each district headquarter would have a tidal park. And again, another 6 are going to come in. And we are advising many of them. So the point here is that, that is going to become a triggering point. And today occupiers are expanding, wanting to expand into the emerging cities. And because talent is available. Today, Sridhar also highlighted about Madurai, the 6% attrition rate. That's very, very important. So we were in a event a couple of weeks back, the Madurai vision I was highlighting to you. So one of the findings is similar to what Sridhar was highlighting. The other one is that we had a chat with a group of youngsters over there, and they were saying that they were working in Bangalore, so now everybody's moved into Madurai because they have an opportunity to work at these new outlets which are there in Madurai. So one is talent, retaining the talent at that particular city. Then it becomes more affordable for them because they are there at their hometowns, nearby hometowns and all that. And connectivity is also pretty much there. Whereas in cities, in major cities, the kind of exposure, the connectivity, the time taken is all there. Another one important aspect here is that while we have all of these emerging cities coming up with large IT parks, catering to the employment over there, but the social infrastructure, one of the key findings which we did is whether we have the adequate social infrastructure. While the attrition rate in these two emerging cities are very low, we anticipate in few years' time, when you don't provide a kind of a social infrastructure, the attrition rate might go up because of the Gen Zs coming in, Gen Alpha were going to come in. So I think the kind of social infrastructure which we provide along with the IT development is very important. That's why I think we foresee in future IT parks are going to come up with not the IT parks which we've been seeing in the last 2 decades. I think the transformation of IT parks from a design perspective and the employees acceptance towards the building design and all of those new elements are going to come in. I think this is the trend which we are going to witness in the emerging cities, Sangeeta.
Since you mentioned about TCS, last week, again, before this news, there was a news in Economic Times which says that TCS is going to expand its facilities, and specifically they mentioned Coimbator's name also. So based on the news, we went and met the TCS top-notch people, and they're very much on in terms of expanding their footprint, and they are planning to put a big facility at Coimbatore. That plan is there. Actually, they are also focusing on Tier 2 and Tier 3 towns in a big way. They feel that the affordability, the cost of the land, availability of the talent and all that is much better, so they wanted to open up. I think attrition and layoffs are part of software industry, but at the same time with the AI coming in, a little bit of reskilling has to happen. I think states like Tamil Nadu is much poised to handle that kind of scenario because with the available engineering colleges and all that, I think slowly that alteration will happen, and I think this scenario will change.
Vignesh.
I have not developed a IT park as such, but what I've heard from the market is that the tidal parks that the government is developing across Tamil Nadu, it is seeing huge demand coming in. And as I would like to reiterate, an ordinary engineer is in a Tier 2 and Tier 3 cities is going for very menial jobs, and they are getting very menial paychecks. And if a proper IT company can come and set up shop in Tier 2 cities, it is a good contribution to the society, as well as they can also go for a, tap into the economical rate at which they can acquire talent. So that is it.
Thank you so much,
Just one
Vignesh.
last point, Sangeeta, just since Shankar, this is a very valid point, which has been a big blocker for Chennai itself, social infrastructure, which is what Shankar had touched upon. I think even today, when we go into the global pictures with the clients, the one big question is, what's the story on social infrastructure in Chennai?
So what should the government do? If you could, all of you could give your recommendations on this.
Sorry, before that I'll just complete this. So now, I think today, I don't know how many of you went to Coimbatore. Coimbatore has changed the entire landscape today from a social infrastructure, be it good restaurants, be it education. Education is known for Coimbatore. Even we have a couple of international schools there. So the infrastructure is much higher today. That will enable other asset classes like retail and residential and so on. Okay. So you want to know what is...
So I think key, very important is, Sridhar, apart from the points which Sridhar highlighted, it's very important to have the entertainment, the pop culture. I think we've been requesting the government a lot on this particular, I think, how to have some relaxation in the rules which is set in this particular state. They are working out something along ECR. So some restrictions going to be removed along ECR. So ECR is going to be an entertainment destination. So I think they're going to try. So if they can replicate across multiple cities in Tamil Nadu, then this thing is solved. So that is a major thing. I think food and beverages is the key.
I think even the Koreans, they want more of golfing and sporting activities and all those things. Yeah. Mr. Junit, your views on this? What kind of infrastructure should come into?
Yeah, other than this entertainment, I think whatever we announced, I think the speed at those things has to happen quickly. Like the delay in the Greenfield Airport, what has happened in Chennai has costed us dearly. Now we are, I think, we have gone to the 5th place in India. Bangalore has overtaken us and all that. So whatever is announced, either like metro rail or the stadium which is going to come in Ondipudur, whatever is there, the execution has to be much faster. I think because already we are in a sweet spot. We have education institutions, we have medical institutions, hospitals, all that is there. So we can bring in all that, the last mile connectivity, but that the other basic required infrastructure much quicker. The execution, I think that will drive the growth story faster.
I think social infrastructure has got a very, very important role to play. Social infrastructure not only in terms of entertainment, I mean, that is also very, very important, but in terms of hospitals, I mean, I don't know whether hospitals comes into social infrastructure, but hospitals play a very important role. If a family is coming from Singapore or Korea, Chennai being the, hospital capital of India, also has got a very big role to play. So if they come to Thoothukudi to put up a project, so they will be little bit worried about the hospitals there or the education system there, because Chennai, they have got international schools wherein a child studying in Korea, she or she can easily come to Chennai and continue her studies here. So that type of schools they have to provide in tier 2 cities, hospitals, schools, and then apart from that, lot of other entertainment activities also. So I think it has got a very important role, and hotels also. So if you go to Thoothukudi or Tirunelveli, you don't have I mean, to my knowledge, we don't have a 5-star or 4-star hotel available there, which is branded, where I can go and stay safely. If I'm coming from Korea, I'll be looking at that. So if I'm coming from some other parts of the world, I will be looking at a good brand to stay in. So we need good brands of hotels to be in all these places for them to, cater to the industrial development happening there. So it's got a very, very important role. And I think the government also should incentivize the investors to come and put up shop there.
Yeah, I think while we need to prioritize the social infrastructure, as was mentioning, some of the cities might have best healthcare facilities, and Tamil Nadu is better known for healthcare across India. I think the best state with the best healthcare facilities, and also education. Some of the cities which we are talking about, emerging cities of Tamil Nadu, do have. I think we need to have an approach where we need to see, one is healthcare, next is education, third is what he was highlighting, the hospitality related stuff, and fourth is entertainment. And entertainment, still I'm pushing entertainment, because I was mentioning earlier to someone is that we did a interaction with some of our occupiers, the Korean C-suite of all of these companies, manufacturing and all of that. So what they're saying is that, okay, while we have facilities or exposure or offices in multiple cities, but our headquarters where the CEOs and CFOs are located, so they want this golfing facilities and the world-class sports infrastructure, and also entertainment. So many of them they are headquartered in Delhi because of this particular reason. While they might be traveling every week, but still their headquarters is there. They don't have any facility over there, but still headquarters is in Delhi, because they provide good amount of golfing facility, and also Gurgaon is thriving because of this entertainment angle. So I think this is very important. As I mentioned earlier, government is looking at it, because we from, I represent CII also, so we pushed it very hard, and they have a buy-in. I think in this forum also, when you submit a report to the government, please push this forward. I think another point which I'm highlighting is branding. Today, Tamil Nadu and Chennai, Chennai used to be like, as Sridhar was saying, that we used to be at the top. Now you see Bangalore overtaken us in the last 2 decades. Pune, for some extent, Hyderabad also. So branding is very important, and guidance is working towards a lot in this particular branding, not only for Chennai, but other cities. And I think yesterday they had one in Thoothukudi, investors meet and all that. So that is really what is needed at this point in time, because in India we have about 30 or 40 these emerging cities. In China, 30 years back, it was only about 10 or 20. In China, we have about 50 or 60. Chinese, the development and the economy boomed because of these emerging cities. So I think India is going to witness in the next 2 decades a lot of these cities coming up. I think Tamil Nadu is doing the right way. We missed on entertainment, and we are missed on the branding. Now I think something is working on. So let's hope for the best.
Thank you, Shankar. Another interesting destination in Tamil Nadu is Hosur. A lot of companies have been making investments there. Ola's made a very huge investment in that region, and this has led to a significant job creation also. So how is the housing demand being addressed in Hosur? And also, what kind of urban planning initiatives are happening in Hosur region. And on the other side, Hosur also has a lot of congestion issues. It's on the national highway. So how are these things being addressed?
I think I'll go first. Yeah. The Hosur in the last 5 years, we have seen a huge amount of investments going into Hosur because of this Bangalore, Chennai, highway, and also a lot of corridors being planned. As you highlighted, this is creating traffic congestion. Government is also having a city planning for Hosur, but still it is under progress. I think we need to witness more on how they are going to plan the entire city because it's all haphazard development. Even the retail development and the retail is picked up. You name any store in Chennai, you would see in Hosur also. The residential development is also haphazard. You don't have a dedicated plan, well-planned approach for Hosur. Maybe the private developers who are getting in there, I think it's very important for them to look at these parameters, where they want to position their development very close to the workplace, because a lot of manufacturing units are coming in after Ola setting up huge demand from a lot of different asset classes. So it is very important, and I think the connectivity to Bangalore is also tremendous. And they're also planning for some metro connectivity from Bangalore and all that. So I think Tamil Nadu's intervention should be more towards Hosur. Now, again, as we speak, a lot of actions being taken on how to retain Hosur from this kind of development activities hindering the development. So I think we need to wait and watch for that. So two important things. One is it is going to grow higher. I think Hosur might oversee Madurai from a economy perspective. So that's what in our recent study we did. So let us hope for the best.
Sridhar,
just to add up on, today I think Hosur is more looked at up from a manufacturing location. It's like a EV destination of Tamil Nadu, but there is a huge potential which is untapped from a IT/ITES standpoint also. Many years back, about 2 decades back, Sipcot was the first people to set up a IT park in Hosur, but unfortunately the market didn't support at that point in time. But now the market is revived today, the dynamics have changed today. I think the state has to plan it very well, more like a smart city planning should be there, structured way of development will help the city to grow, this particular Hosur, to move faster on that, and there's a huge potential is there still. Apart from manufacturing IT, the retail will grow very well and as well as the residential sectors will do. Today, the residential sector is not looked up great because of the manufacturing setup. The moment you see the IT and other companies are moving in, the residential sector also will start working very well.
Junit, your views on Hosur?
Hosur, as they have mentioned, it is actually the center part of the city or the town is choked actually. So a lot of unplanned development and all that. So we feel that development will happen towards that Bangalore road and all the outside it's on the periphery areas is what we are expecting to grow. And secondly, the talks about the new airport and which is going, if it is getting materialized, that will be a very good advantage for Hosur. So I think it's a good location. Currently we are not doing any project there, but we are looking for newer projects at Hosur.
So Hosur, as of today, it is like an outer city of Bangalore, and a lot of industries are coming there because Tamil Nadu has got better policies, more clear regulations. So a lot of industries are coming. So we need to plan it out and do the urban planning proper, residential planning proper, because everything is getting mixed up. So there is a lot of housing near to industries and all those stuff. So I think the government needs to intervene and put it up. We also are looking for lands there to develop an industrial park. So I think the government should take more steps on that.
Let's move on to Trichy now. So with Trichy's integration into the defense industrial corridor, what implications does this have for the commercial real estate sector, co-working spaces, hospitality demand? What kind of demand are we going to see here in the next 3 to 5 years? And Trichy also will have a lot of warehousing opportunities because of this corridor. And apart from that, there is also going to be a lot of demand for housing also there. So I would like to hear all your views on Trichy.
From announcement of this particular park, I think what we see, there will be a lot of the R&D and engineering centers which will come. I think now people will start looking, private developers apart from government which is putting up their title park and so on, the private developers also will start looking at it now. If you look at it across India, all the large developers like occupier clients started looking at the emerging cities of Coimbatore, Kochi, and even the developer communities also started looking at the emerging cities in the state, at least about 15 or 20 cities to start with. So they will start putting their own, developments, commercial, residential, and so on. So that is one which is, Trichy is always got a great demand in terms of IT, ITS spaces. Unfortunately, we don't have the right infrastructure at the point. When I say right infrastructure, it's more to do about the commercial buildings. We didn't have, because our own clients have been looking Trichy for the longest, but they're not able to find a suitable options. Then they moved into Coimbatore as a secondary thing. I'm talking about 3 to 5 years time back. So one, there is a huge demand will come in from R&D and engineering centers basis on that. Two, the residential will go. Residential, I think one part is, Trichy has always had a huge demand on residential sector, especially the NRI. They have a huge investment in the residential sector, and I think from a pricing point also, it's got a good pricing for the developers to make a project there in the Trichy as a city. Also, like what Shankar had touched upon on the tourism, it's a huge potential. I don't know how many of you have gone. If you go to Trichy, at least you can see 5 important temples in Tamil Nadu. I think that's a big advantage. I think maybe that should come from the government side. Yes, the hospitality sector, which is another, which we don't have a big, hotels today in Trichy at this point in time. Also, we see a big boom in the hospitality sector across as one of the real estate sector for us, where a lot of these private equity firms who has invested in commercial real estate, they're looking at investing in the hospitality sectors, like Blackstone has invested huge money in the hospitality as well as the healthcare sector. So I think that we're just waiting for this momentum to come in. Slowly we see there's quite a lot of momentum happening in these sectors.
Yeah, Trichy, definitely it's a vibrant and beautiful city. It's not that my wife is from that place. So I think as Sridhar was mentioning, over a period of time, not much developments were happening in Trichy apart from it's a center point, and wherever you want to go in Tamil Nadu, you have to cross Trichy and Madurai, that particular corridor. Recently, the trigger points for Trichy is going to be one, the bus terminal, recently inaugurated. It's opened up in an outskirts. It is going to open up a lot of those corridors. Already a lot of speculation from a land perspective is happening. And it's going to open up a huge amount of development potential in that particular area. Number two is, if you look at Trichy Airport, the passenger movement has increased multifold. And last week I was there. The new terminal building is amazing, better than your Chennai. So I think the infrastructure standpoint, I think it's coming up in a big way. And also the corridors which they are planning around Trichy, the connecting corridor, be it Trichy-Dindigul, Trichy-Madurai, a lot of industrial developments are going to happen. That indirectly will trigger your residential as well as commercial, because this defense corridor or the defense, because already they have the defense-related companies in Trichy. So now I think Trichy will become a kind of a defense ecosystem. While I'm talking about Trichy, I want to touch upon another point which I had in mind, is that I think since we have multiple cities, multiple emerging cities in Tamil Nadu, we need to tag each and every city as in a different potential state. One is Coimbatore, for example. It could be like IT is next to Chennai. Trichy is going to be a defense. Maybe, we need to term, it's kind of a branding indirectly, right? Madurai is still, they've been, tagging on with the same spiritual tourism related. Now, they are focusing on more of manufacturing, other stuff. Coming back to Trichy, why this is very important is that once you have this destination point for a defense activity, a lot of other companies are going to come in. R&D is going to come in a big way. Then it is going to trigger offices, especially co-working, because co-working is the norm now. So a lot of these land which has been unlocked because of the bus terminal, that entire stretch can be a corridor, could be a defense corridor in Trichy. So that is what my view on Trichy.
Trichy, after this integrated bus terminus, the market has really is on fire. It's on the Panjapur highway, so most of the residential projects which has come in the traction is very good. And with this defense corridor news also, a lot of positivity is there in the market. And we feel with this already the existing educational institutions and the hospitals, we have a lot of renowned hospitals there. You have NIT and you have a lot of colleges there. So I think Trichy has a huge potential, and it will definitely will be a very strong, robust market will come up in Trichy.
Trichy, like a lot of defense corridor, I mean, a lot of PSUs are there, BHEL, BEL, Ordnance Factory, but I don't know whether they're performing or whether they're having the type of scale that they're expecting. But apart from that, as a consuming center, Trichy is a very strong point because there is a lot of, it is right on the center of the Delta districts. The Delta districts are the biggest agricultural production centers in Tamil Nadu, and it's also one of the biggest consuming centers. So the warehousing policy which is going to come out also is predominantly focused on the Delta districts. So I feel that lot of scope is there, and we are also, as a second phase, we are planning to develop at Trichy. So I feel that going forward it will have a good effect on manufacturing and warehousing as well.
Thank you. Shankar, since you mentioned about tagging, Coimbatore also has another tag to itself. It's also known as the hub for senior living. And interestingly, South India accounts for almost 60% of senior living. So what demand drivers and policy signals should developers pay attention to while planning senior living projects?
Yeah, senior living is a big market, and Tamil Nadu, especially, Chennai and Coimbatore has benefited a lot out of this. In the last decade, we have seen transformation in senior living also. I think senior living segment started with, I don't want to get into the details, but it's transformed. It's more real estate driven. Even we have a couple of models, rental, ownership model, and all of that is there. It is very important to have the kind of an ecosystem. Today, some of the senior living projects are not very successful because it has to be tied up with a kind of a healthcare facility. Some of these tier 2 cities, the emerging cities, can really offer this kind of senior living kind of developments. One is Coimbatore, which has already got a good amount of healthcare, because healthcare is very important. Why Coimbatore? And also pleasant weather compared to other cities. Maybe in other cities, wherever you have a good healthcare facility, senior living can be planned, because initially the senior living target customers were only from Chennai, elite, people who have settled abroad and all of that. So now I think the next decade is going to be senior living as an asset class, not for the people who have gone out and for their parents. It's going to be for the people who are living there in every city. So now already we are witnessing many projects, a similar project aiming at senior living. So apart from Chennai, I feel that senior living related projects are going to come in other tier 2 cities. Trichy because of its connectivity, Coimbatore because of its healthcare facility, and Madurai because it's religious and spiritual kind of destination. Number 2 is from a government perspective. Government has already planned this. Healthcare is pushing a lot. There is a forum for senior living. So they have identified many support from the government. So that is being done. When compared to other states, Tamil Nadu is faring really well from that perspective, and we have enough support from the government. The second point is that on the incentives. So can we provide some kind of FSI incentives, like what we discussed for affordable housing? Can it be for senior living also? So that is one aspect which we've been now debating. The third aspect is when you develop a kind of an ecosystem along with healthcare, because healthcare has also become a now real estate asset. Healthcare and senior living. Now, what kind of, there are, and I don't want to get into the nitty-gritties, from a design perspectives and all of that, there are some challenges when you integrate both of them, and also challenges in developing healthcare. So that is also represented with the government. Some teething issues are there. So once that is solved, I think we are going to have a global destination for senior living also coming in, along with this medical tourism.
Sorry, I just wanted to add here, like it's getting into more, in our terminology, we call it as a matured asset. Today, commercial is a very matured asset in India. Industrial warehousing is a matured asset today in India. And I think the senior living now it's coming. And also what we are seeing a trend is like, about 5 years or 10 years back, we have seen residential with just an apartment, what we know. Today, people classify like residential into premium, luxury, super luxury. Similarly, we are seeing the same trend coming into senior living also, where we see a trend, people are moving from a basic needs to a luxury segment or a premium segment of senior living. That's the trend which we are seeing going forward.
So does G Square have any plans to get into the senior living segment?
Firstly, the senior living space, I think it's going to grow in a big way. The current trends like the nuclear family and the financial independence the retirees are having. So definitely they look for a separate place, and of all the places, I think Coimbatore has a huge potential because of the weather and also the connectivity and the medical facilities and all that. As far as G Square plans are concerned, we are planning as a part of our township at Coimbatore, G Square 7 Hill City. There is, as I explained to you, there is a 300 acres of land. So we are planning for a senior assisted living there. That plan is there. So, and not only there, overall, I think as a segment itself, we will start focusing on that, and I think that segment is bound to grow in a big way.
So next we'll club Thoothukudi and Tirunelveli because neighboring districts. So a lot of activity around Thoothukudi also. The airport has been upgraded recently, and yesterday there were a lot of MOUs being signed. ISRO has also announced that they're coming out with their spaceport over there. A lot of defense and ISRO-related activities are going to happen there. So what's happening in Thoothukudi, and what kind of real estate potential do you see there? And also Tirunelveli. Tirunelveli seems to be emerging as a startup hub. And after Chennai, Coimbatore, and Trichy, Madurai, Tirunelveli is emerging as the next destination for startups also. So what's driving all this?
Yeah. From a startup destination, I think if you look at it from a data standpoint, Tamil Nadu as a state ranks number 2 in the country from a startup. Last year alone, Tamil Nadu state has seen about 729 startup ecosystem which is built, and I think government of Tamil Nadu is also supporting big time in terms of setting up the startups. One of the big initiatives which the state has done, more importantly, if a person wants to do a startup, I think they've been funded. They need to run a project, and government of Tamil Nadu gives us free space. They sponsor them. There's a lot of initiatives, and also they've created a 150 investor database. So once the project is done, so they'll be able to put them to the 150 investors so they can do angel funding and so on. So that's a great initiative. That's a driving factor today. I think this will drive Tirunelveli as a city itself. And also from a Tuticorin standpoint, if you look at it, which has not been tapped for a longest time, because it's got an excellent seaport connectivity. I think that has not been tapped, and also the the wind power ecosystem which they have in Tuticorin. These are two things which not tapped at all. I think the government of Tamil Nadu now has taken a big initiative in terms of investing and creating the infrastructure around this. I think at the same we also need to look at it.
Develop for windmill and non-renewable energy sources, renewable energy sources. Number 2 is, as I was mentioning earlier, one of the tourism development is also planned over there. And the third one is a lot of this EV related stuff is also happening. So I think if you want to tag, Thoothukudi is going to be more of a sustainable city, more in a green city, and it's very important for us to identify, this also we represented to government, this Madurai-Thoothukudi corridor is going to be a game changer for next, because last 10 years we have seen this Chennai Hosur doing a lot of stuff, right? So now Madurai, Thoothukudi, because we should not isolate Madurai alone and Thoothukudi alone and Tirunelveli alone. I think it is going to be more of a cluster development. Already announced that Madurai Thoothukudi corridor is going to have a lot of these industrial developments. One recommendation from our side, it is very important to create satellite townships adjacent to Madurai, because Madurai's character is now more religious, spiritual, and all of that. Thoothukudi is, as he was also mentioning, that infrastructure is very poor. So it is very important to have kind of a twin cities, one adjacent to Thoothukudi and another adjacent to Madurai, which will act as a driver for all developments, because it can be a 1,000 acre to 1,500 acre development, completely developed under a public-private partnership, because lot of investments from national players and global players are coming into Thoothukudi. So they can really take up, the Adanis of the world can easily take up about 1,500 acres of land. So I think there is an opportunity. Soon we would know, it's on the cards. Huge, large townships under public-private partnership as a sustainable city would be planned near Thoothukudi and also near Madurai.
Junior sir, what kind of...
A lot of good news about Thoothukudi. Fortnight back, the airport got renovated and it was opened up. And yesterday there was a summit, some 40 MOUs got signed, and almost Winfast factory got inaugurated, and 40,000 new jobs are getting opened up. So what it clearly shows is that there is going to be a lot of, reverse brain drain, because most of the Chennai people from south of Tamil Nadu, they come and work in Chennai. So there are enough and more opportunities there. They will stay on there and they will get newer job opportunities. So as a whole, that region will improve. So that will lead to a lot of growth, in, not only in terms of residential, in other sectors also. I heard a lot of news in Tirunelveli also. Some South Korean major is putting up an shoe making plant. There is a recent news there. So all around, of late, we are seeing a lot of developments happening across Tamil Nadu. I think it's all good, good for those specific markets.
Vignesh.
So, Thoothukudi, the government has done the right things. They have brought in big OEMs and brought in clusters, and there is a port for them to work on. And I was there in Thoothukudi 1 week back, and the airport was like, not better than a railway station. So a new airport is a good thing. It's a big image booster for us. And as Mr. Sridhar said, it is like having good social infrastructure like big hotels and big hospitals will play a big role in that.
Thank you so much, Vignesh. We'll now open the floor for some questions. Any questions?
Yeah, good evening. It's a good panel discussion. I'm Prabhu here. There's a question to Mr. Vignesh. You are much interested in participating in industrial and logistic parks. Why your organization is not much focusing on IT parks? Is there any specific valid reason for that?
We have seen that industrial markets are an untapped market, and there are big ROIs to be made there. So we have entered it, and there is still a huge potential to cover. And I feel that focusing on that is better than going into IT spaces. In the future, we'll be open to it. Definitely we'll be open to it.
And coming out with private IT parks will definitely boost up the IT industry.
Yes.
Not only your organization, even we can talk about our G's group also. And coming out with private IT parks definitely will, increase the IT sector's growth precisely in Tamil Nadu in a bigger way.
Sure. From G Square, we are interested in that space. As I mentioned earlier, we are discussing with few of the IT companies to build up infrastructure for them. So we are definitely interested in that space.
Thank you.
we are entering the industrial hostel market now. So there is a huge potential for that because a lot of migratory workers are coming to Tamil Nadu to work now. So we are entering that, and we have started operation. We are going to start operations in Chengalpet in the next 4 to 5 months' time. So most of the industries who are coming, they require hostel facilities, especially if it is a woman worker. They need good hostel facilities to make them work. So we are planning to tap that market now.
My question is to Mr. Junior Babu. How do you look at Vellore market, sir?
Vellore is, yeah, I forgot to mention, Vellore is a very potential market. That is again, a lot of things happening on defense also, I think. There is an defense related, some industries are coming up, I think, at Vellore. And that's it, right from Vellore, Krishnagiri, Dharmaburi is what our next focus is going to be on, including Salem. So definitely those markets we are not currently present for some reason. Vellore we have a project. Sorry, Ambur we have a project. Vellore we are looking at projects actually. So those market is that western part is going to be our focus now.
Thanks to Hindu and all for organizing this. It's a fantastic discussion. It's feeling good that so much of things happening in Tamil Nadu. Specific questions any one of you can answer. There is so much of space that is vacant because of this work from home. So I see a lot of inventory which is vacant. What's your view on that? Thank you.
I'll pick it up. Sir, this is a common myth. Everyone thinks about there's a lot of inventory is vacant because of the work from home norm today. But there is a vice versa which is happening. Today, as we talk in Chennai alone, there is a shortage of supply from a commercial real estate standpoint. In the last year, Chennai witnessed about 10.8 million square feet of demand. Last year, Chennai witnessed about 8.5 million square feet of a demand. The supply is getting short, and this year and next year, there will be a short supply of short supply of space in terms of commercial real estate. Also touch upon Coimbatore for a moment. Coimbatore today don't have a good quality space available in the Coimbatore market today. And because of this reason, the rentals also is jumped about 20 to 30%. Similar situation in cities like Madurai and Madurai and Tiruchi. These are the places. That's one of the reasons why Tamil Nadu government has come out with mini tidal parks in all the smaller cities, as well as they have come tidal park also. For example, tidal has come out in a place called Viluppuram. The moment it got completely it's leased out today. So there is a short supply, not only in Tamil Nadu, across the country today.
Shankar, would you like to add to it?
Yeah, I think fully agree with Sridhar. In fact, all of these emerging cities which we are talking about, there's no supply. And whenever they launched this tidal park, we opened it, I think within 1 month, it's completely occupied and taken up. Space is not there. So it's a myth. Going forward, we see, hopefully we'll have a lot of supply and we'll have more IT spaces. This work from home, I don't think will reduce the space of office spaces.
We'll just take 2 more questions.
One more thing, even though we are not there in this space to support their argument, when we checked up the data for this thing on Coimbatore, the vacancy rate is as low as 5%. So that is what even the data shows.
Yeah.
Also, sorry, just to add upon this thing, just last one. The reason why we see, though, it's a urban spoke model, we talk about the work from home, everything. Also, we need to note, in the last 3 to 4 years, there are a lot of companies that have expanded their headcount in India. Not only ITS clients, also the buzzing word today is the Global Capability Centers, GCC centers, which is today talks about 1,700 GCC are in India today. And when they talk about that, it's not only 1,700, they also look at expanding in other cities also, which is about 2,000 units today across India. So this is what the expansion we are seeing in the office segment.
So you had a question.
taking off from Mr. Shankar's statement about Hosur's central city, the central part of Hosur city facing congestion. This is true not only Hosur but also several other places like Madurai or Coimbatore, even Tirunelveli in some parts. I'm basically from Tirunelveli. What is the real solution? Of course, going for satellite towns could be one solution, but it should not be at the cost of the city as such, what it is. Kindly.
Because core cities are always the vibrant spaces in any city. I mean, if you look at Chennai, Chennai CBD used to be Paris Corner. I still remember I used to take bus from Paris Corner 30 years back. Then it slowly moved. We're talking about Gindi. Now we are at Gindi. In between, you started with Nungambakkam and all that. So the congestion is all about the CBD, the core city, right? But development would happen, the peripheral areas, then city grows, right? So the 20 years back, we never crossed Tidal Park, maybe Mahabalipuram Road. So now you see, it's up to Mahabalipuram. So the development is all there. So I think the whole important point here is that the creation of satellite townships or the creation of new corridors will move the developments a little away, keeping the core essence and the feel of the core city. Because the one point particularly for Hosur is that you have this highway going in and a lot of congestion. So probably I think traffic and transportation intervention which come in, then it will solve the problem, as I think Sridhar also touched upon the smart city initiatives. Unfortunately in Hosur, not much of that has happened, whereas in other cities like Coimbatore and Trichy, today infrastructure is better than some of the other cities because of the smart city initiative which they implemented from parking, traffic, transportation, and all of those aspects which they cover under the sustainable smart city mission. Hope that answers.
So,
yeah, I have a question for Mr. Shankar. You were drawing upon, how Bangalore's ecosystem is conducive to attract a lot of IT investments and how we need to sort of draw up a plan for that. And you were also mentioning about the transformation of IT parks from the design perspective. So can you elaborate a little bit on, that, and the next part is, you were talking about investing in social infrastructure in Chennai. Would you restrict it to just the IT corridor, or which pockets of the city do you think the government should focus on?
Yeah, I'll take the first one. The transformation is happening in two fronts. Number one, I think in the earlier session, they talked about the sustainable green buildings or the net zero buildings and all that. So 10 years back, maybe a couple of buildings were there. Today, every new building is a green building, so-called, Green City LEED certificate or whatever you call it. Why? Because their investors, the companies, occupiers, investors are telling them you have to move into a building like that. So today, even in this emerging city, we might witness the buildings of similar nature coming in. The next trend, what is going to happen, so somebody touched upon work from home and all that, maybe 2 or 3 days a week they come to offices. There is going to be a trend which is going to come in. The employees are going to determine how their office is to be it green spaces, whatever. So I think the employees' intervention is going to be more. The last decades we have seen occupiers. Recently we are witnessing investors demand for the spaces, and now we are going to witness the employees. We at JLL, we did a survey, global survey. The finding is that 15% of the employees are asking for how their spaces to be. This is the trend which I am talking about. The second question is that, which are some of the areas in which city you asked me? Chennai. Chennai already you have a lot of these corridors opened up. So, but many of the IT buildings are coming up. As Sridhar highlighted, we don't have much of a supply. So hopefully supply will come in all of those corridors. Land is plenty. Social infrastructure, yeah. So ECR is slowly becoming a destination for entertainment, right? So it used to be an entertainment corridor. Chennai is always, we had defined corridors, right? So IT corridor, entertainment corridor, maybe the SEZ corridor. North is more of warehousing and logistics. And we are pushing the government to make the Gindi Porur as a fintech corridor, because huge development is coming in as a fintech, right? So we are also advising them. So those are the areas which will be unlocked. From a social infrastructure perspective, We need to create, for example, Katipara Urban Square is the best example. So when we first sat with the CMRL, so they thought that, okay, they'll build some shops, that's it. And just for, petty kada. That's what they intended to do. So we stepped in and we made that particular, area into a completely different thing. So you name the best, for food giant, everybody is there in the Katipara Urban Square. So those are the things we need to create within cities. That's what I meant by entertainment. So initially we wanted to have this particular Katipara junction 24 hours open with no liquor license and all of that. So still, those kind of pockets are going to emerge in Chennai. That's what I meant. All of those junctions, the core nodes of Chennai should be treated as entertainment destinations.
Thank you, Shankar. We'll close the session here. It's going to be 7 now. Thank you so much, panelists. Thank you for your wonderful insights. And thank you so much to all the audience also. And all of you have a wonderful evening. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sangeeta, requesting you to present a memento to all of our panelists. Have a round of applause for all of our panelists, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much. And now to deliver the vote of thanks, I call upon Mr. Shafiqur Rahman, General Manager and Head of Events, Tamil Nadu, the Hindu Group.
Thank you, Paloma. It's been a very long day, so I'll make it real quick. As we come to the close of Tamil Nadu Real Estate Summit 2025, it's my privilege to deliver the vote of thanks on behalf of the Hindu Group. First and foremost, I extend a heartfelt gratitude to our chief guest, Thiru Meena, Chairperson RERA, for setting the tone of today's summit with his insightful keynote address. Sincere thanks to our presenting partner, Casa Grande, and co-presenting partner, G Square, for their continued trust and collaboration. Your commitment to innovation and progress in Tamil Nadu's real estate sector is truly commendable. We are deeply grateful to all our eminent speakers and panelists, industry stalwarts, policymakers, academics, and thought leaders for sharing their expertise across sessions. Each session today offered powerful insight into the evolving trends, regulatory shifts, and transformative opportunities shaping the future of real estate in Tamil Nadu. A big thank you to our green partners, Select, our sports ecosystem partners, SDAT and Tamil Nadu Champions Foundation, and our supporting partner, CREDAI Tamil Nadu, Lanka, and Namma Family Group. Your support truly enriched the quality and reach of the summit. To our strategic partner, MMA, TV partner, Pudhiya Thalamurai, and digital news partner, The Federal, we appreciate your valuable association in amplifying the event to a larger audience. To our audience, thank you for being such an engaged and enthusiastic part of today's event. And to those watching us live via the webcast, thank you for tuning in. Behind every successful summit is a team that works tirelessly to make it happen. My gratitude to the editorial team at The Hindu, our events and production team, our digital and design teams, and every member who has contributed behind the scenes. Let's carry the ideas forward, learnings and connections we have built today into actionable change. Thank you once again for your time and interest in the Hindu Group. Have a great evening.
Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. As we conclude today, I think it's clear that the Tamil Nadu real estate sector is poised for transformative growth. And with that, we thank each and every one of you for your support and, of course, this wonderful audience for your active participation. See you all at the next event.